Hey, I'm Wally from the Wally Show with the world's biggest small group, and one of the most difficult things to do is to forgive people, at least for me sometimes. And that's why I don't like the verse Matthew 18:22, because the apostles are asking Jesus, well, how much do I have to forgive? And he says, not 7 times, 70 times 7. So there's no case that we can ever make to not forgive somebody. But what do you do in your life when you know you're not in the wrong? How do you forgive somebody? That's tough. I had a situation with my brother-in-law where we got into this big disagreement, and to this day, I feel I'm on the right side of it, and it's not trying to be stubborn, but I hadn't done anything wrong. It became this big blow up to the point where there were threats made, and he was like, you're never gonna see my family. And I didn't grow up like that. My family was really tight knit. And so for me, it was weird because it was hard for my wife because she's really close to her family as well. And I'm like, well, we're not seeing them. And it was this big issue that just kept getting bigger. The crazy thing was, about this time, my wife's mom was sick and she had been fighting cancer. We were talking and she had just told me, she said, I know that you aren't wrong in this, but I don't want my family to be torn apart. Is there any way that you could see past it to forgive him? And that was hard for me, because I wasn't even in this great spiritual place either at the time. And so it was like, you know what? This is her wish. And I love this woman to death. And she's such a godly woman that it made an impression on me. And I'm like, you know what? For you, I will do that. So I called him up and I said, you and I need to meet. And I remember we met in an Arby's in Marietta. It was interesting how much anger we had both had on this. And we sat down and we both were just kind of like, all right, we know it's dumb. And we just took that moment to let everything go. Each of us copped to our part in it and the culpability. And for me, it was hard too, because again, I didn't feel like I was really in the wrong. And I'm like, you know what? If I did something that made you feel bad and I was part of this, and I am part of this, I'm sorry. And that's where I had to lead from. And he apologized. And we have a really good relationship now. And it took years to build, but it started from that moment of being willing to humble yourself and to do the right thing. And that's what God knew all along, was that when we do that, it can change people. And not only him, it changed me. And it made me realize that forgiveness is important, not even just for that person, but also in your own life, because the hate inside that unforgiveness can cause will eat you alive. And I spent a lot of years with that. Learning to let that stuff go will truly make a difference in your relationship with God and in the people around you.